everybody, I am Josie. I am the Red Prophet on Instagram. I hope you will join me as I talk about my artwork, as I talk about my current projects and works in progress, my cats, and sketches and sketching and just chats about my thoughts behind a piece, the piece I'm working on, and just life in general. The sort of things I talk about on Instagram, just more expanded, and hopefully I'll be able to engage with everybody a little bit more. I think we all have a lot of stuff to share, and I want to share more with you, and I would love to invite you to share more with me as well. As it is right now, that's kind of what I'm thinking it'll be. Right now, you can see me working on a piece from one of my works in progress, and I know I've been talking about it for a year now. I want to thank everybody who's followed me on Instagram and has been waiting and disappointed so many times. I'd be like, I'm so close to finishing this deck. You guys deserve an explanation, and I definitely want to explain a little bit more why it's taken so long, but also just know I'm really close, guys. I'm so close. Like, it's coming, and you will be, I'm excited, you will be excited, and I think you'll enjoy this thing I've been lovingly crafting for about 2 years now. And I thank you for your patience and also just sticking with me through the process. I know it's taken a while. What you see me painting right now is one of the cards from the Verivis deck. I actually have a name for it now. And it is not a tarot deck. It is not an oracle deck. It is not a Lenormand deck. The Verivis deck is its own divination system. So I don't know, whoever decided to tap into my brain and give me some information from who knows where about what this deck needs to be. And so yeah, it's completely different, and that's part of why it's taken me so long, because I don't know if I've mentioned it on Instagram, but the way that this deck started out, I had a drawing frenzy that was 5 days long, and I came up with an odd number of cards, and the more I drew, the more themes started to sort of stick together and emerge. And by the time I was done sketching, I had something that felt like it made sense, but it also needed a lot of development. So the last 2 years has basically been me exploring how the system needs to work, and because essentially what I see myself doing with this deck is creating a tool for myself and a tool for anybody else who wants to use it, a divination tool. And that could be for helping yourself, or just like you would use essentially tarot for intuitive counseling for yourself or your friends. It's different in a lot of the core thoughts, even though you could end up using it for sort of similar purposes. And I'll get into that as I talk about different pieces and the deck as a whole. Another reason I wanted to start my YouTube channel is because once the deck is complete, I want to be able to have tutorials on here where I can show how to use it, and because this is sort of its own thing, I want other people to sort of contribute who are interested in using the deck, share how they use it personally. I don't necessarily think that there's only one way to use a knife or a spoon or a screwdriver. If you get creative and you find a new use for it and it's working better than what it was originally designed to do, then, I'm open to collaborating with people who use it. As far as there is no only one right way to use it, but there will be tutorials and guides, and essentially guidelines for how to start using it. At the end of the day, it is your tool, and you'll find the way that it works best for you, and I really want to encourage that. That there's no just one right way to use this, but I do have a way to use it in mind, and I want to be able to share that in this channel as time goes on. Moving on from that, the piece you see here that I'm painting, again, is from the Verivis deck. It is from the phase Nourish, and it is from the Order of Blood. Now, without getting too much into the structure of the deck, that's pretty much what I would want to share about that for now. Nourish is the phase, and Blood is the order that it's in, and I guess if you compared the orders to suits in tarot, it wouldn't be too far off, but they sort of mean completely different things, but it's that same kind of function and an organizational group. So that being said, I'm probably not going to get too much into the symbolism of any of the cards as I'm doing the speed paints for them and revealing them slowly to you. Because although there are some sort of canon symbols to each card, outside of those very few ones, it's going to be pretty much completely up to interpretation. Like, I want you to be able to come to a card, with practice, just really tap into your gut instinct about what it means about a situation. So for example, in this one, the Order of Blood just deals with life force and energy and vitality, and the phase of Nourish deals with growing and feeding and mothering or nurturing, but essentially it's investing into the growth and development of something. Now, since we're dealing with blood, which we discussed was life force, then the card then becomes a question of, depending on the context of the reading, how to invest or grow life force or energy or focus or attention, or what you need to really build up and grow. But outside of that nourish, that's a pretty easy word, and that blood it symbolizes life force or energy. That's about it. I mean, the poppies are there as well, because as a counterpoint, to me, poppies symbolize sort of dreaming and rest, sort of the subconscious side of spirituality that is very, it's kind of like the vivid dreams. It's the restless sleep. That being said, though, once you approach a card and you sort of get hit with a gut feeling, then it's up to you to decide whether nourishing an idea or a crazy dream or growing energy or anything is relevant to the situation or not, or if you need to be, the opposite of that, toning it down. But as it is, I want the cards to be able to evoke a feeling in the reader. And then as you sort of explore those very few symbols, blood and nourish, and perhaps sort of the tone of the artwork, how it feels to you in that moment, my hope is that you'll be able to take that, make use of it as you see fit, as you find it helpful. The more you do it, the better you get at really knowing what your intuition, your gut, and your soul is trying to tell you. I know that sounds like a big order. Figure out what your soul is trying to tell you with some cards. But I feel like it's completely achievable, because if you've ever used tarot, or you've ever known someone who's used tarot for a long time, or oracle decks or something similar, and just speaking from my own experience, that's totally possible, and it's something I've been able to do. And it isn't, the standard of achievement to tap into those things when you use divination tools. But that's kind of what I look for when I'm using a tool, as sort of the ease in which I can tap into that true knowing, where I hear it and I trust myself. And that's sort of something I want to be able to provide a different tool for other people to access, perhaps more easily, or just in a different way. It's kind of like getting a second opinion on a similar situation, but from a different friend, and I hope it ends up being something like that. And then as far as this, there's the sun and the poppy. Kind of wanted to feel sort of smoky feeling. The blood flows upward, and all of that, that's for, you to be curious about. And, it's open, it's very much open to interpretation. In fact, it's completely encouraged. But at the end of it, I think it's useful to not come necessarily with a preconceived idea or like a prejudgment before you have it in front of you and in the context of the other cards that you drew for the reading at hand for the situation. That's about it. I guess that's what I want to say about the artwork itself. It's more about putting your brain in that space of the elements of the card and not focusing quite so much on the symbolism. Those are references. I really, really believe we can trust ourselves. It's just a matter of knowing which parts of ourselves we can trust a little more than others, or which parts of ourselves and which of the voices we hear and which of the feelings we get we can trust in certain situations over others. It'll be just one more tool we have in our psycho-spiritual toolkit to help us live our best lives, and the lives that really make us feel fulfilled and satisfied, and that help us figure out stuff that is not always easy to see because we're thinking about so much at any given moment. The deck has been completed twice over now. Once in full sketches and once completely painted. I don't want the first version of this tool that I hand to anybody to be something that I didn't treat with respect and integrity. and gave it the attention and the thought that it deserved, as far as I could think of it at that moment. And I'm hoping that as I share this information with you guys and I do the tutorials and interact with you all and see how you think, you know, the tool has worked best for you, I'm hoping to slowly refine and create a really, really useful and enriching tool to whoever decides to pick it up. This has been a really incredible journey. I've learned a lot, and being kind to myself and my artwork. I hope that you'll have fun just sort of exploring that as I get ready to release this deck. So I just wanted to thank you for joining me today in this video. If you liked it and want to see more from me and keep up with my works in progress and the completion of the Verivis deck, as well as anything else I put out, listen to me chat and share with you guys, or if you want to engage with me in a different way than you have before on Instagram, I welcome you to join me. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe, and I hope we'll see more of each other soon. Bye, guys.